You are listening to the Cattle Call podcast. This is the place where computer-aided design and drafting meets humor and practicality, with a touch of business acumen thrown in for fun. Jim and Rocco, the owners of Zentech Consultants, the premier U.S. technology consulting firm for architecture, engineering, construction, and manufacturing, discuss the fascinating world of CAD with some humor and some honesty. The Cattle Call Podcast. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Cattle Call Podcast with Jim and Rocco from Zentech Consultants. I am Jim, your rapidly aging host, and with me, as always, is my partner in crime,
Rocco, the young and spring chicken.
Yes, he is the young spring chicken, but he's no fun, and that's why everybody used to have to suffer through the engineering joke of the week. See, just being young doesn't get you out of it, Rocco. Ready for this one?
I'm ready.
All right. What do you get when you cross a mathematician and an engineer?
What do you got?
You get someone who knows everything but can't explain it to anyone. Huh? Oh, they just keep getting worse every week. All right, folks. Luckily, in order to save us from that, we have a guest with us today. Julie Keverian, the North American Technical Manager from BricsCAD, is back with us once again. So, Julie, thanks so much for being on the show today.
My pleasure. It's always fun to chat with you two.
See, Julie's good at lying.
Julie.
That's why we have her on. All right, folks. Well, for those of you who haven't heard yet and seen all of our marketing and heard all of the good news, BricsCAD v25 just dropped, and Julie is going to tell us all about the cool and exciting new tools that we have to look forward to in this release, right? But before we get into that, let's get our new listeners, give them a chance to find out a little bit more info about Julie. So, Julie, why don't you tell people about your background and what your role is these days over at Bricsys?
All right. Well, I started out life with a degree in architecture, and I've worked for architectural and engineering firms, always focusing on technology and CAD way back when CAD was in infancy. And then I've also worked for a lot of real estate, construction firms, CAD technology companies as well. I've been with Bricsys now for 5 years. And yes, as you said, I'm the technical manager for North America. So that means I do things like this. I do pre-sales demos. I help customers migrate over to BricsCAD. I help product teams by looking at features and, testing things out, do presentations at various events. A little bit of everything.
Little bit of everything. I say, whenever we need anything, Julie always seems to be the first person we hit up. So yeah, she's absolutely doing everything over there. All right, so let's talk about the V25, right? So, one of the things that I have definitely noticed about BricsCAD over the years, it's that their releases tend to have a guiding focus, right, or a principle that they keep in mind during the update process, right? And every major release, when we talk to Julie about these, they always seem to have a theme of some kind. It's like a party. They have a theme. And they use that theme, I guess, to kind of help drive and coordinate and communicate, what's in the BricsCAD upgrades. So Julie, what were the Bricsys goals or their guiding principles, you think, when developing BricsCAD V25?
Well, the tagline, I'm going to start with that, is smart meets easy. So we have smart tools that are easy to use and easy to learn. And also BricsCAD version 25 kind of is a harmony or split between intelligent features and user-friendly features. And this is all driving to help our customers be more efficient, work more effectively, to leverage those tools, but also do it in an easy way so there's not a steep learning curve.
Yeah, and I think that's a great stance to take, right? Because you do see that a lot. Your software, look, at the end of the day, software developers, they're smart guys, they're coders, they're programmers, they got all things can get really technically heavy. Sometimes,
yes,
the idea of keeping it simple enough for people to use gets missed. So
that's very true.
Yeah. So that's good. I'm glad to see that you guys are focused on that. That's awesome. So, look, I think, a key part of any major update, right, is taking that time, right? Like Julie was saying, to consider the basics of, how the end user actually works, right? With your tools in their CAD system, and simpler, more intuitive, and just plain easier to use processes, I think can go a long way towards improving everyday workflows and kind of encouraging wider adoption of a new release like the V25. So, Julie, what are in your opinion, right? What are the key new interface updates that you're seeing in BricsCAD V25?
Well, first of all, I do want to kind of backtrack on what you said, because it is very important. We do understand that folks that are going to move to BricsCAD, they don't want to make that move if it's going to mean they have to do a lot of user training, if they have to learn how to do new things, new ways. So that's very important. And some of the things or tweaks that we've done with version 25 starts actually with the ribbon. We have a couple of different ribbon layouts, classic and modern. The classic layout on that drafting workspace, we've made that look a little more familiar to those users coming from a traditional CAD platform. And we've also have a new status bar. It has a new look and feel with both labels and little icons. And with that new status bar, we've actually added a few more fields. Again, things that people have asked for: annotation scale, selection cycling. So there's also a viewport scale is now available on that new status bar. So that just makes things a little bit more familiar to maybe what they're coming from.
Yeah. And those day-to-day, simple user interface changes are what really make the big difference in productivity. So I love those. Mm-hmm. So, when it comes to BricsCAD, right, one of the things that I always try to talk to people about, regardless of which release it is, right, it's really the ease of use that I think, anyway, people have moving, to BricsCAD from, other CAD systems, right, particularly, the behemoth ones from Autodesk. I think that's really important. So, Rocco, right, like I said, we always try to stress to clients how easy it is to convert to BricsCAD. But I wonder how much of an impact that really has. Do people put a lot of weight on like Julie was saying, that ease of transition to a system like BricsCAD?
Yeah, they do. I mean, let's face it. The majority of customers that move to BricsCAD are moving from AutoCAD. And so having that ease of use is critical. And it's not just about, BricsCAD is significantly less expensive than AutoCAD, but it's got to be an easy transition, because if you're going to spend, months making the transition and fighting every day, that's not, to save some money, that's not going to be pretty. So, that transition is important. And we hear over and over again with folks that are starting new with BricsCAD, making the migration to from AutoCAD, how easy it is, and how BricsCAD is so similar to AutoCAD, but yet BricsCAD is a totally independent product with a lot of impressive features and we're only hitting on, a good handful of them here today.
Yeah, absolutely. So Julie, in terms of that ease of transition, right? What kinds of tools and features did Bricsys add to V25 to kind of make that, both the transition and the learning processes of moving to BricsCAD simpler?
Well, first of all, we continue to create new and update our learning videos. So there are some online videos that are free for users, or not even users, but anyone to take a look at from our website. A couple of them are specifically on migrating over to BricsCAD, or kind of a BricsCAD for an AutoCAD user. We also have drawings right in the start page that explain some of the things about BricsCAD, and just the kind of the look and feel. Like I said, you can, majority of the time, if you're a keyboard typer for your commands, you can type in the same thing that you would type in AutoCAD to get the same result. So that's, those are some of the things that just make it look and feel more like what they're used to.
Yeah. And it is funny. It's always been, it was the thing early on when we first got in with BricsCAD that caught me. The fact that I can go in and when I go to draw a line, I can hit L. And I want to move something, I can hit the M. Yeah, it seems simple, but on a daily basis, when you're running a few thousand commands, the muscle memory is important,
Exactly.
and you guys maintain that beautifully. So it's a great thing. So, all right, I tell you what, folks, let's get a break in here to hear from today's sponsor. And when we get back, I want to get into some of the industry-focused tools that BricsCAD has enhanced in this new V25 release. So stand by, folks. We'll be back in just a minute with more of the Cattle Call Podcast. All right, Rocco. So we are sponsoring ourselves yet again today. What is it we want to talk about?
We're going to talk about me today, Jim.
No one wants to talk about you. Not even you.
Oh, fine. Let's talk about Zentek Tech Blocks.
Awesome. I like Zentek Tech Blocks. Zentek Tech Blocks are prepaid support hours that let you call on Zentek's experienced technical staff to address all your support questions, problems, help you with workflows and standards, really anything you need on the technology side. We're here to provide the support you need so that your most talented people aren't being dragged into helping everybody else in your company instead of working on the billable jobs that you need them focused on. All right. So Zentek Tech Blocks are available in multiple sizes. We sell them in 5-hour, 10-hour, 20-hour, and 40-hour prepaid support blocks. And if you're interested and you need that sort of help, Rocco, how do they reach out to us?
Yeah, hit up our website, zentechconsultants.net. Give us a ring, 866-824-4459, or even drop us an email, sales@zentechconsultants.net.
All right, Zentek Tech Blocks, the vital support that your people need exactly at the moment that they need it. All right, everybody, welcome back to the Cattle Call Podcast. We are talking with Julie Keverian of Bricsys, all about the new features in their version 25 release of BricsCAD, which recently dropped. And in this half of the show, I want to hit on the updates related to BricsCAD Lite, BricsCAD Pro, and then some of the civil survey and point cloud improvements and tools that they've included in this release. So Julie, let's start with the basic system, right? Lite and Pro. What are the key feature improvements for those that you think folks should know about?
Well, first of all, there is a new file open dialog box. So this is going to look more like the traditional Windows application file open. So again, one of those things that it's a little thing, but it's really important. And then one of my favorites is we've really improved on the searches for missing XREFs and attachments. And this makes it so much easier. You can select multiple files and have BricsCAD do an extended file search. You can manually go and find the path, and BricsCAD will ask you if you want to apply that to all the other attachments. But what's really, really helpful is in the past, that search went about 2 folders down, and now it goes several folders down. I think I've done 5, and it still finds those XREFs. So that's, again, a huge, huge benefit, because if you're trading files or you're copying projects around, sometimes it's really tedious to get those XREFs back into path.
It is. That's huge. I mean, the relative pathing when you're transferring zip files back and forth and moving things from different servers, and you wind up with the zip file name is the top folder, and it starts throwing things off. That kind of stuff can take just hours of trying to reconnect and find the right thing. So yeah, I was playing with that new search tool myself, and it works out really, really well. So one of the, I guess, the big focuses for BricsCAD over the last few releases, that of course I love as a civil guy, it really has been in developing and improving their civil and survey related tools. There has just been a huge push with BricsCAD to include powerful infrastructure tools directly into the BricsCAD Pro system at no additional fee, right? And that means that you can go in and you can do the types of survey and site work that you normally have to go out and purchase like a crazy expensive vertical, right? Like Civil 3D at those nutty prices to handle that. So Julie, what are some of the new and improved features for your civil and survey tool sets?
Well, going back to kind of the theme, we did kind of have a theme for the civil survey toolset, and really it's a focus on surveyors, and in particular surveyors that are using Leica hardware. Now, some of your listeners might be asking, well, why Leica? Well, Leica and Bricsys are both under the Hexagon AB umbrella of companies. So we're sister companies. So that was one reason. But we've basically made it much easier to get the data collection from like a hardware into BricsCAD. So what do I mean by that? Well, now in BricsCAD, you can create a BricsCAD template that has, say, your layer definitions, your line styles, blocks, whether they're 2D blocks or 3D blocks. And you can use that template within like Infinity to map those code tables so that the data that you capture and clean up is going to be using those templates and styles that maybe you've set up for a particular customer. So that's really big. That's really big. We also now can take that information out of, say, Infinity and do a convert like a DWG to convert all those entities into actual civil objects, points, strings, tin surfaces. So there's no double work there. That's really important. And then the third piece on the civil survey tool set are drafting tools for surveyors. I mentioned the string object. So it's a new string object. It's 3D for lines and curved segments. This can be imported from your survey data or from Land XML or even from a civil 3D drawing that contains feature lines. And then, of course, for the string, there's a string editor, so you can do a lot of editing with those strings. There's curve calculator. There's line and curve labels that are smart. So you can set different styles, and then say you've started a label on a line. If you move that label and it goes over a curve, then it's going to change the label style to a curve. So those are some of the things. But tin surfaces. Have you ever wanted to be able to share a tin surface with somebody else? Well, we can now do that as well. A little bit like an XREF, but it actually will be done through the Civil Explorer. So that's really nice because you're linking that, sharing that, but it's read-only. It's so whoever you're giving that to cannot edit that original source object.
Yeah.
So there's also on tins, there's smoothing that we can do. We can smooth the contours so they're more realistic. Lots and lots and lots of stuff.
Yeah, definitely some major improvements. And I do like the, that ability to basically, data reference that the surface from file to file. So you have one source of truth and everybody else can see it as it's being updated. It's, they get notifications, everything, just like you would with an XREF or a data reference that you guys might already be familiar with. So it's a huge step in the right direction for this stuff. So Rocco, what's been our clients or our potential clients, I guess, interest in the survey and civil aspects of BricsCAD, right? As opposed to, buying add-on systems like, Carlson or Civil 3D, right? Those expensive verticals.
Yeah, we're seeing more and more survey folks interested in BricsCAD. Again, Autodesk puts out great products, but the expense of Civil 3D for just survey purposes is way overkill. It's a complex product to use, and so they're out there. We talk to survey firms that are way behind in terms of technology.
No doubt.
So
some of those guys are chiseling their surveys into stone with, it's like the Flintstones.
That's true. So having a solution like BricsCAD that has these survey capabilities is huge. And if you want to add some more power, we won't get into the details today, but we've also just kind of repartnered with SmartDraft and their suite of tools. And Julie actually gave a webinar earlier this week that talks about how BricsCAD integrates with SmartDraft and their suite of tools on the survey end. So that's that.
Just a ton of functionality available there. All right, so I think another area that BricsCAD has been focused on in recent years, and I think they are doing an absolutely remarkable job at outpacing their competition with this. It's in the point cloud and reality capture space. BricsCAD has some of the most powerful but simplest to use point cloud processes out on the market, right? I see a lot of our clients who are just adding BricsCAD. They're not even moving to it. They're just adding it to their tool set just because it is so much better at handling point cloud data than even, the big name, competitors it deals with out there. So, Julie, what are some of the point cloud related updates that are in the BricsCAD V25?
Well, first of all, we've added support for additional point cloud formats. Leica, again, our sister company, they have a new LGSX point cloud file format, so we of course support that. There's also some point cloud data that's captured by other hardware. One is Zoller and Frolic, the ZFS file, and also from Regal, from the V-Line line scanners, so that's a Regal file. And there's also been some updates to Hexagon's HSPC format that we've been supporting for a bit. With that, the classifier has been updated. We can now do manual classifications as well as the automatic. And that's really helpful if you want to change a classification or maybe something was misclassified. And then with that, the Point Cloud Manager has been updated as well. It looks a little bit different. We've got more controls on that. There's actually a second tab for render settings, so it consolidates a lot of the point cloud controls, plus adds some new features. There's a new iDome and a dollhouse view as well. So yeah, to your point, we're really continuing to up the ante on what we can do with point clouds.
Yeah, and again, I know I said it earlier, I'll say it again. It's the best product out there for dealing with large data sets in the point cloud. It's so fast and so simple to use and smarter and easier than just about anything else I've seen. So, all right, I tell you what, as always, right? I always do this, right? Whenever we have a guest on, I like to, give them the opportunity, right, before we sign off, to tell us something about the topic of the day that I did not think to ask them. So, Julie, what other features or functions or processes are included in the V25 release that you think, listeners should know about?
Well, I think one of what I call fun tools is experimental mode. So these are a group of tools that are just that. They're experimental. And just to be clear, there is absolutely no guarantee that these are going to be in a future release, or they might change, but you do have to turn them on. But for example, there are some BIM tools around walls. There are some mechanical tools. There's actually a 2D finite element analysis feature that is very new. Sequence managers, we've got some new tools for the mechanical assembly inspect. We've got wrench keys and torque wrenches that can be used in that. Also, something that was introduced right before we released version 25, it was actually released in the last maintenance release for V24, was that we now support Esri maps. You may have heard Bing Maps is kind of moving to a different format, and many companies aren't going to that, Bricsys included, so now we do support Esri maps.
Nice. I actually did not know that was included, so there's some now I have to go look at. That's great. Awesome. Very cool. All right, folks, I think with that, we can get out of here. But I want to thank Julie again for taking the time to be here with us today. Julie, it is always an absolute pleasure to have you on the show, my friend.
Thank you. It's a pleasure for me to be on.
See, she's still being polite and lying to us. I love that. That's a wonderful thing. All right, folks, I'm going to get out of here with my pretend compliment. And we will catch y'all next time on the Cattle Call Podcast. All right, everybody, today's Cattle Call was brought to you courtesy of Zentech Consultants. That's Rocco and I. Zentech Consultants works with design and manufacturing firms to help our clients purchase and implement the software that they need in these complex industries. We provide a single point of contact for clients to buy, develop, and learn the most vital software systems for your specific needs. Zentech strives to be your trusted technology partner from your initial needs all the way through long-term support and training for your entire staff. So Rocco, why don't you tell them how to reach out to Zentech?
All right, yeah, you can reach out to us through zentechconsultants.net. You can email us at sales@zentechconsultants.net, or you can even call us 866-824-4459.
Excellent. We look forward to hearing from you all.